Pam, one of the areas that can make or break a new small business is its ability to market its products and services effectively. What are some of the key things that you have found that all new entrepreneurs need to know about marketing? And along those same lines, what are some cost-effective ways to promote your new business?
Well, a general frame for marketing is that it is a strategic endeavor in that you really want to have an overall plan of understanding who is your target audience and what's really important to them, where do they hang out in person and online, and how can you make sure that you're in those areas in a very consistent manner. So you want to choose the right places to play throughout the year in order to interact with your market. It's also a very tactical endeavor where you want to bring it down to multiple interactions that you have with your ideal clients multiple times over a consistent period of time. And what I advocate, depending on what the market is that you're actually playing in and what your product or service is you choose a few things that you can do on a consistent basis and do them on a consistent basis. So if your folks hang out online, if they read a lot of blogs, you want to spend a lot of time blogging or connecting on blogs. If your folks are those that love to attend live conventions or meetings or go to annual conferences, find a way in order to first be there, or even better, to speak there and build your relationships that way. So you really want to be choosing the kinds of activities that are important to your audience over time, and not just doing a big marketing blitz when you launch something, but realizing that there's a whole way that you need to be connecting with your ideal audience before by providing a whole bunch of really great, useful information that's free. And then after you do that over time and you begin to develop some kind of relationship, when you're ready to sell particular products or services, people will be much more open to you to do that. So what I often see is that people take one generic marketing strategy and apply it to everything they do, when if you have different kinds of products that serve different markets, you might need to use specifically different tactical tools. That said, I personally have a huge bias for the wonderful benefits of a lot of the free tools we have at our fingertips today through social media. So through things like blogs, where you can share a lot of your expertise. You could do video updates so people could really get to know you. You can be linking to others who are going to be really useful to your target market. And it's a fantastic way for you to get your name and search terms about your product up in the Google rankings, which of course is one way that you can get customers from all over the world. The same thing is true by building a relationship on Twitter or on Facebook, on LinkedIn, some of the tools that you have where you can find out all kinds of really useful ways to connect with people who may be great advocates for your services. And it really can expand your market from something that may feel like it needs to be local into a global audience. I know myself, I have coaching clients all over the world, and India and China and Europe and South America, and they're all facilitated by a lot of free tools, connecting with people on Twitter. People visit my blog. We conduct our coaching sessions on Skype, and it means that I do not have to be just focused on my local area in Phoenix, Arizona, which, as many of you know, has been really hit by hard economic times. So even if you're in an area that is facing a lot of economic challenges, by diversifying and using some of these tools that allow you to connect with people all over the world, you really do change the scope of your market. And that's actually a lot of the hope that I have for certain areas that have been hit really hard in Detroit, I know in the Phoenix area, a lot of other places in the U.S. Who can really take advantage of using some new tools and expanding their markets.
You know, one of the pitfalls that I've seen with new entrepreneurs is their desire to save money by doing everything on their own and not to pay for help even when they really need it. But as you know, when you're running a company, it's simply impossible to know everything that you need to know all the time. So having a good network of advisors and mentors is an imperative. But Pam, one of the problems that many new entrepreneurs face in trying to build a solid network of advisors and mentors for their startup is that everyone they know is an employee. What's your advice for individuals who find themselves in this situation?
Well, it's very important in order to build a new network. And by that, I don't mean to leave your old one behind. Sometimes people get concerned. It means leaving all your old friends behind. It doesn't mean that. It just means expanding your circle to include people who are experienced entrepreneurs. And again, thanks to the internet these days, there are a lot of places where you can go and connect with people who have that experience. You can go to mainstream sites like Inc. or Entrepreneur that have magazines that have online forums, and you can see who's writing in there. You can look for particular blogs that are focused on more the startup world or starting a business world. StartupNation.com is a great site for people who are really new. So there's all kinds of great free information there about starting a business and a lot of others who are doing it. And then if you go to something like meetup.com, meetup.com, you can look for your geographic area and you can look for groups that are meeting in person around a topical area. So if you're interested in web development, there's often large groups of independent web developers that get together in-person meetings and using something like meetup.com. So I would, begin to notice, depending upon the market that you want to go to or the kind of business that you want to start, find out where are those kind of business owners congregating and how can you congregate there. That could be an example of a conference that you might want to attend that will be crawling with people that are in a similar stage of development as you. But I know when I first started, I had my son, who's now 5, who was a baby at home. I didn't want to be traveling a lot, and I really began to build up my network all online. And I did that just by finding blogs and websites that were talking about all the kind of entrepreneurial topics that I was interested in.
Pam, what are some of the common traits that you have found in people who have become successful business owners? What do they share in common?
I think they share humility that goes back to having a scientific approach to business, where they're not afraid to fail, and if they make a mistake, they can openly admit it. I think that's something that's very, very useful on the entrepreneurial journey. It's balanced by hubris because sometimes you need to have you have to be a little bit full of yourself. You have to really believe in your ability to do things, and sometimes even beyond your current skills of experience, in order to take some risks. And I think that can be a good thing, where you give yourself some confidence and some permission to really try new things, but at the same time not beating yourself up if you do fail. So I mean that's one thing I think that's really, really useful. The other thing is in realizing, as you were saying earlier, that you do not have to do everything yourself. And the people who have been the most successful are the ones that are really leveraging their strengths and then relentlessly outsource or delegate everything else to other people. Even when you're just beginning, if you're brand new, you can, for example, get a virtual assistant at all different price points. Some people that you can hire on an hourly basis that would be the equivalent of like an administrative assistant in a corporate job. There are sites like Elance, or I think one is like Ovo, I think it's called, where you can have some access to some more reasonably priced resources. But if there are things that you really want to get done that you don't have the time or energy or expertise to do yourself, it's great to be surrounding yourself with other people who do. As you grow your business, the nice thing is you're also providing employment and income for other people. And personally, that always feels really, really, really good to me when I'm writing checks to other people, knowing that my business is not only supporting my family, but it's stimulating the entire economy around me.
I really like what you had to say today. Pam, if our listeners would like to learn more about you and your work, how can they do so?
You can find me at escapefromcubiclenation.com. And I'd love it for those of you who want to jump on my newsletter list. I travel quite a bit, and if we could meet up in your city, that would be wonderful. And in my newsletter, I generally give an update as to where I'm traveling or speaking or any kinds of events or workshops that are coming up. So if you go to escapefromcubiclenation.com, in the right-hand column, you see a sign-up that says Join My Newsletter, and I'd love to have you on the list. And I have 5 years of free blog posts at Escape that cover all kinds of different topics that hopefully can help you think about starting your own business.
Folks, this is the kind of information that you need to empower yourself right now, especially in the middle of this economic crisis. The book is Escape from Cubicle Nation. The website is escapefromcubiclenation.com. The author, Pamela Slim. Pam, thanks so much for joining me on Follow the Money Weekly.
Thanks for having me.